Welcome to Duo Reads, where we decode deep ideas and break down big books one page at a time. Today we're unpacking a work that has, well, profoundly shifted countless lives, promising not just spiritual enlightenment, but maybe more practically, a path to inner peace. An End to Suffering. Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now.
It's a truly transformative read, yeah. Offers a very direct approach to understanding how our own minds often become the architects of our struggles. The central message is, deceptively simple, yet deeply challenging to actually integrate into daily life.
Absolutely. So our aim for this discussion is to explore Tolle's core concepts. We'll start with the deeply personal origin of this book, then we'll dive into his radical assertion that we are not our minds, and most importantly, how we can practically tap into the now to sort of dissolve pain and cultivate a more conscious existence.
And we'll also look at the specific examples and vivid analogies Tolle uses to make these abstract spiritual truths accessible. Crucially, we'll see how recognizing what is false within us is the very first step toward lasting inner transformation. It's really about uncovering something you already inherently possess.
Okay, let's begin with that fascinating origin story of the power of now. Tolle himself describes reaching a point of absolute despair. He felt he cannot live with myself any longer, a real moment of profound internal crisis.
Yeah, and what's truly insightful about that moment is the sudden, almost paradoxical realization that followed. If he couldn't live with himself, then there must in fact be two of him, an I and a self. This insight, it led to his incessant mental chatter just stopping abruptly. It ushered him into this void of intense fear, which then dissolved into an indescribable bliss. He experienced an awakening, really, to a pristine world. Even simple things like a bird chirping were perceived with this fresh, miraculous clarity.
Wow. It's such a powerful shift. And Tolle explains that this experience fundamentally altered his reality, right?
Completely.
He recognized that the constant voice in the head, that stream of involuntary, often critical thoughts, is not who we fundamentally are. He actually spent, nearly 2 years just in this state of intense joy, sitting on park benches.
That's right. And when people would ask him, what he had, he'd simply reply, "You have it already. You just can't feel it because your mind is making too much noise." That simple answer, that direct truth, eventually formed the foundation of this entire book.
So this brings up a critical question for us then. If we are not this incessant mental voice, what exactly are we?
Well, Tolle argues that our identification with our thinking, our endless likes, dislikes, judgments, interpretations, this actually creates what he coins a phantom self, the ego.
The ego, okay.
And this ego operates almost entirely within the confines of past memories and future projections, constantly creating problems, conflict, always believing that true fulfillment will arrive one day, somewhere in the future.
Right. It's a complete inversion of how we actually experience reality, isn't it?
Right.
So how does this manifest in our daily lives then? Tolle suggests this compulsive thinking, this constant mental activity. It's kind of like an addiction.
Exactly. He says we derive our very sense of self from it. We almost believe that if we stopped thinking, we'd cease to exist. It becomes our primary, albeit false, identity.
Yeah.
And Tolle views the current dominance of the mind as, a stage in our collective consciousness, a stage that has, in many ways, become quite destructive. He really emphasizes that thinking and consciousness are not synonymous.
Well, that's a key point.
Yeah. True consciousness doesn't require thought. The qualities that truly enrich our existence, beauty, love, genuine creativity, deep joy, inner peace, Tolle argues these originate from a dimension far beyond the thinking mind.
That's a profound statement. Okay, so how do we begin to practically apply this? If almost everyone hears these voices in their heads, like Tolle points out, how do you actually go about watching the thinker without just getting lost in the thoughts themselves?
Right, that's the practical challenge. Tolle's advice is to listen to that voice without judgment, without getting entangled in its narrative.
Just listen.
Just listen. By becoming the witness to your thoughts, you start to feel a conscious presence, a deeper self, sort of arising behind the mental activity. And this conscious presence, this awareness, it inherently disempowers the thought stream.
How so?
Because you're no longer identified with it. It's not about trying to force thoughts away. It's about stepping back and observing them. That naturally shifts your internal state to one of, heightened alertness and vitality.
Okay, I see. And this observation of the inner voice, this directly leads to the core concept of the present moment, or the now.
Exactly.
Tolle considers this the single most crucial step towards spiritual liberation, consciously creating gaps in the stream of mind. He even mentions, like, catching yourself smiling at the voice in your head, realizing you don't take its pronouncements seriously anymore.
Yeah, it loses its power over you. And when we connect this to the bigger picture, the now becomes the essential key to liberation because, as Toll explains, time and mind are inseparable.
Time and mind inseparable.
Okay. He makes a vital distinction here between clock time and psychological time.
Right.
Clock time is the practical, necessary use of past and future, learning from mistakes, planning goals, that's fine.
Uh-huh.
Psychological time, however, is when we dwell excessively on the past, creating guilt, remorse, or constantly project into the future, seeking salvation or fulfillment there.
And this psychological time is what Tolle starkly calls a mental disease.
He does. It's strong language, but he points to chilling historical examples like ideologies such as communism or extreme nationalism, where the belief in some future highest good or utopian society led to immense suffering, widespread murder, profound cruelty, all in the present.
It's a stark reminder, isn't it? Chasing a future heaven can create a present hell.
Absolutely. Which raises a very important question for each of us. Are you frequently trying to get somewhere other than where you are right now, mentally, emotionally? Tolle argues that many of our problems are, in fact, mind-created. They arise from dwelling on situations without actually taking conscious, non-reactive action in the now. He asserts, all it takes is a simple choice. I will create no more pain for myself. Easier said than done, of course.
Of course. Speaking of pain, Tolle introduces a concept that I think resonates with so many people. The pain body. How does he describe this? What does it mean for our experience of suffering?
Right, the pain body, it's essentially the accumulated residue of past emotional pain. Any form of suffering, really, from deep trauma to subtle irritation, it has solidified and become lodged in our mind and physical body, almost like an invisible entity.
An entity.
Yeah, and what's fascinating, and frankly, the bit unsettling, is that this pain body has a drive to survive. It literally feeds on negativity.
Feeds on it. How?
Well, it will unconsciously seek out or even create situations that resonate with its own low vibration energy just to get its food. So when the pain body takes you over, you might find yourself unconsciously wanting more pain, more drama, more conflict, because that's what sustains it.
Wow.
It can even manifest as physical ailments or recurring negative patterns in your life.
But the truly empowering message here, the good news, is that the pain body is utterly afraid of the light of your consciousness.
Right, exactly. By bringing sustained conscious attention to it, by simply observing it without judgment,
Right.
you effectively cut its link to your thought processes. It's like an alchemical process, transmuting suffering into pure consciousness, turning what feels like base metal into gold.
That's a powerful image.
And this transmutation also applies to fear. Tolle distinguishes between practical fear, sensible, immediate response to danger, like not touching fire,
Right.
and psychological fear, which is completely divorced from any immediate real-world danger. He posits that ultimately all psychological fear boils down to the ego's fear of death, its fear of annihilation.
And that drives things like needing to be right.
Exactly, or constantly defending our perceived identity. So disidentifying from the mind naturally brings an end to this constant need for defensiveness.
It's not just about stopping negative cycles, though. Tolle also highlights that deep, pervasive sense of lack or incompleteness many of us feel.
The ego's search for wholeness.
Right. That drive pushing us to constantly pursue external things, possessions, success, recognition, even special relationships, believing they will finally make us complete.
Yeah, and inevitably these external pursuits ultimately leave us feeling empty, don't they? Because true wholeness isn't found outside. It can't be.
So Tolle then offers these portals into the unmanifested, tangible ways to access this deeper reality beyond thought. One is the inner body.
Yes, simply feeling the life energy, the aliveness within your hands, your feet, your entire being. It's a very direct way.
A direct experience.
A direct experience that you are more than just your physical form. He also guides us toward external portals, like observing moments of silence.
The gaps between sounds.
Exactly, or words, or becoming aware of space, the emptiness around objects. These external experiences of stillness and spaciousness are meant to mirror and help you access that deep inner stillness, the unmanifested within.
Okay. Now he connects this directly to relationships, arguing that most human relationships are primarily minds interacting with each other.
Yeah, it's our ideas, our images, our expectations of each other just colliding. which almost inevitably leads to conflict.
So true love.
True love, he suggests, in its purest form, has no opposite, because it arises from a place far beyond the mind's constructs, beyond duality.
And romantic love, which often starts so intensely.
He often describes that initial phase as potentially an addictive clinging, an extension of the ego's search for wholeness, seeking liberation from that deep sense of lack through another person. But when those unconscious needs aren't met, that intense love can quickly flip into its seeming opposite, anger, resentment, attack, because it was rooted in an egoic need, not genuine, unconditioned love.
Right. Which brings up a really crucial point. If relationships can be so problematic, what is their ultimate purpose, according to Tolle?
Well, he makes this powerful claim. They're here to make you conscious instead of happy.
Make you conscious, not happy. That's provocative.
It is. He views relationships as a sadhana, like a spiritual practice or discipline, a place where you learn to be the knowing of your inner state rather than just reacting unconsciously to your partner or circumstances.
Wow.
What's particularly compelling here is Tolle's observation that, generally speaking, women are often more naturally attuned to being potentially closer to enlightenment.
Why does he suggest that?
He suggests it's because they tend to find it easier to feel and be present in their bodies, embodying the unmanifested more readily. He also discusses how being gay can be a powerful help by forcing disidentification from social patterns.
But also potentially a hindrance.
Yeah, if it then creates a new, rigid, egoic identity based on that.
Interesting. Tolle also presents this truly radical challenge. To give up the relationship with yourself. What does he mean by that? Give up the relationship with yourself.
It sounds strange, doesn't it? But he means merging the I and the myself. Ending that internal split where one part of you is constantly judging, criticizing, or trying to manage another part.
Ah, okay.
When you let go of this internal relationship, you end inner conflict and self-judgment. There's no longer a separate self to protect or defend or constantly feed.
That makes sense. And this connects to the bigger picture of life cycles, too, the impermanence Tolle talks about.
Exactly. The natural ebb and flow, success and failure, high energy, low energy. He notes that fighting against natural low energy cycles, for instance, can even lead to physical illness. The body eventually forces us to stop, rest, regenerate.
Right.
He beautifully states that failure lies concealed in every success and success in every failure. Our experiences of happiness and unhappiness are intrinsically linked. Part of the deal. So seeking permanence or deriving our identity solely from external things or achievements is, he argues, a recipe for inevitable suffering. Because all forms are impermanent. Chasing external happiness will always, eventually, lead to disappointment.
So how do we begin to integrate all these powerful insights? Tolle repeatedly emphasizes surrender as a core practice. And it's crucial to understand this isn't resignation, right? Not just giving up.
Not at all. It's a radical, active acceptance of what is in the present moment, without the mental labels, without the resistance.
Active acceptance.
Yeah, he offers that great analogy of being stuck in the mud. You accept the isness of that moment, the simple fact of being stuck without mentally labeling it bad or wrong. From that place of acceptance, you can then take positive, non-reactive action.
Like the flashlight cutting through the fog.
Exactly. Focusing your conscious presence wholly on the now dissolves the illusion of overwhelming problems. It brings clarity.
And this principle of surrender even applies to illness.
Yes. Tolle suggests that when we refrain from mentally labeling illness, this is bad, my suffering, it's often reduced to mere physical sensations. Discomfort, yes, but not the story around it. We surrender to the discomfort now, using it as a gateway to presence, to enlightenment potentially, transforming suffering into an opportunity for greater consciousness.
And this is where it gets really transformative, doesn't it? Tolle states that surrender transforms you.
Precisely. And when you are transformed, your entire world undergoes a transformation because your outer reality is fundamentally a reflection of your inner state. He uses that simple mirror analogy. If you attack the image in the mirror, non-acceptance of what is, the image seems to attack you back. But if you accept the image with friendliness, it becomes friendly in return. It's about your internal state.
Tolle even touches on conscious death as this ultimate involuntary portal.
Right. If we haven't encountered this deeper reality, the unmanifested, during our lives, he suggests we're likely to miss this final opportunity because of fear and attachment.
But if we've been practicing presence,
then our true nature remains, knowing that nothing of value is ever lost.
that often raises the question, though. What about situations of violence or injustice? Surrender doesn't mean just letting bad things happen, does it?
No, absolutely not. Toll clarifies that non-resistance does not mean inaction or doing nothing. It means acting from a place of conscious presence, not from reactive anger or fear. He reminds us, you cannot fight unconsciousness. Instead, you bring in the light of awareness, like in Aikido, perhaps, where you yield to overcome.
Okay. He suggests humanity is currently under immense pressure to evolve, doesn't he? That this evolution of consciousness is our only chance of survival as a race.
He does. It's a strong statement. He even references ancient prophecies like the lion shall lie down with the lamb as pointing towards a new heaven and new earth. Not a physical place, but rather a reflection of this transformed collective consciousness. Our current world, in his view, is largely a reflection of the egoic mind.
So a transformed
Right.
consciousness will naturally create a new, more harmonious world. That's the hope.
Ultimately, Tolle's message is that true salvation isn't some distant future goal. It's a present reality. To be who you are, he says, to feel within you the good that has no opposite, the joy of being that depends on nothing outside itself. It's freedom.
Freedom from fear, suffering, the psychological dependence on past and future.
Yeah.
Yeah. This exploration of Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, it really does challenge our most fundamental assumptions about who we are, how we experience life, the idea that our suffering is largely self-created through mind identification, and that liberation is available right here, right now. It's incredibly potent and, like you said, deceptively simple.
It truly suggests that the path to a radically different life, and maybe even a different world, isn't about striving harder or constantly changing external circumstances. Instead, it's about a profound internal shift, disidentifying from that incessant voice in your head and recognizing the deep wellspring of timeless being that is already within you, waiting to be noticed.
So what truly stands out to you after revisiting these insights from Tolle?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, I think Tolle's message about true prosperity is powerful. It isn't about acquiring more or chasing external achievements. Not really. It's about experiencing the fullness of life in the now, cultivating gratitude for what is in this very moment. That becomes the ultimate form of wealth.
That's a beautiful way to put it, gratitude as wealth. So here's a final thought for you, our listeners, to mull over. If all pleasure that comes from external sources eventually contains the seed of pain, as Tolle suggests, and true joy is uncaused, arising spontaneously from within, what would your life look like if you stopped chasing external happiness and simply focused on cultivating that inner presence?